Welcome to the part 2 of Introduction to Energy Economics. Now let's understand the reasons making the energy sector very complex. Energy sector is considered to be very complex, and the reason for that is the first reason is to understand the economic issues in the energy sector. It is very important to even understand the underlying processes that is used in the energy sector, and it's important to even understand the underlying techniques that is used in the energy sector. But these kind of knowledge, but this type of knowledge is very technical in nature, and not everyone can have access to it. The second point is that every industry that's present in the energy sector has got its own unique features and it requires special attention. For example, if you're talking about solar energy creation, so that industry is very different from the way oil industry works. So these industries within the energy sector has different features which are very unique and they require special attention. You cannot tell in general that this is what we need to do for the energy sector. We need to look at every industry and then we need to give judgments or say what has to be done as per its own unique features. So this makes the energy sector complex. The third reason for the complexity of the energy sector is the availability and the non-availability of energy. See, energy, if it is available or non-available, it's going to impact the economic activities. It's going to impact the society. If there's no energy, that means there's no electricity. If there's no electricity, then how will people operate their machinery? How houses are going to run without mixies or without ACs, or how a shop will be able to make its everyday items without electricity? How will people be able to even look at each other? How can we even switch on a light without electricity? So since energy is a very important element, its availability and non-availability has a major impact on the economic activities, has a major impact on the economic activities affecting the society as well as the economy. The last reason is that this sector is influenced by international, local, national, and regional interactions at different levels. Most of these interactions attract interdisciplinary interests. It is not like the knowledge of just operational research will be sufficient to manage the decision making of this industry. Knowledge regarding engineering, operational research, and many other subject matters will be required in order to handle this sector, because it is very complex and the interactions in this sector happens not just at the local level but happens at various level: international level, local level, national level, and regional level, making it even more complex. Now let's study the scope of energy economics. Energy economics studies about the forces that leads to the economic agents supplying the energy resources. So we're going to study what are the forces that is making the economic agents supply the energy resources. Economic agents refers to government, firms, or individuals. It can refer to either one of them, and it even studies how these energy resources are converted into other forms of energies that we require, and how it is transported to the users, how these energy resources or how this energy converted energy is transferred to the users. So we're going to study all this in energy economics. The second scope is that it studies the role of other alternative markets, environmental consequences, economic distributional impacts, etc. So it's going to study all these things. The third point is it studies the effective or efficient use of energy resources and energy commodities. So it's going to so in energy economics, we're going to study how the energy resources and energy commodities are efficiently used are efficiently used. The fourth point is that it even focuses on high oil prices, energy scarcity, etc. So even these points would be covered under the scope of energy economics. So we're going to study all these things in energy economics. Now let's understand how economic growth occurs due to the energy sector. To understand this better, let's take an example of a bakery. In a bakery, we are using microwave. We use microwave to heat patties, or we can use microwave to make popcorn or to make pizzas. So when you're using microwave, we are using a form of energy because that's running through electricity. Similarly, in the night time, in the bakery, it is totally dark. In the dark, how can a bakery function? So again, it requires light. Light, how are you getting light? Through electricity. So in this way, the bakery is very much dependent on the energy that is given to them uh, by the energy sector. So this is how the bakery is dependent on the energy sector. Similarly, when the energy sector is dependent on the bakery, because energy sector knows that the bakery is the purchaser of the energy. So if there is no purchaser in the market, if there's no consumer of the product, there will be no point of producing energy. So the energy sector and the bakery both are mutually dependent, mutually interdependent on each other. Okay, similarly, that's how we understand this point, that the energy and the economic activities are mutually interdependent, and the energy sector is playing a key role in economic activities. I gave an example of bakery as an economic activity. If we take other economic activities to be an example, for example, other than bakery, if you think of any hardware shop, or if you think of any IT company, you think of any place, one thing which is common is the use of light in the night time, or after 6 p.m., 7 p.m., where it is dark, and it will be very inconvenient to work without light. So there is use of electricity in almost all economic activities, and it's very rare that an economic activity is not utilizing energy. Thus, energy sector plays a key role in economic activities. So without the economic activities receiving energy, they will not be able to conduct the activities the way they are conducting. It would hamper the growth of the economy itself. That's why energy sector is playing a very important role when it comes to economic activities. The last point is that the energy sector uses the inputs from various other sector, and also is an input, and it itself is an input to various sectors. So energy sector uses the input from various other sectors. This means that the energy sector is use the input of, let's say, transportation sector. For example, if there's a company that uses coal to convert it into electricity. So this company would require the coal to be transported so that it can convert it into electricity. So it is using transportation, which is an other sector. So it is using inputs from various other sector. So the energy sector itself is dependent on other sectors. So it uses the inputs from other sectors like the transportation sectors. And it is also an input to various sectors, and it itself is an input to various other sectors, like how we saw in the case of the bakery. In the case of bakery, energy sector acted like an input to the bakery. Without the energy that's produced by the energy sector, the bakery would not be able to make as much profits as it would be, as it is making, or it would want to make. The reason is that, let's say there's no electricity. Then in the night, the bakery won't be able to use microwave. They won't be able to manage the customers. They won't be able to serve the customers properly. They won't be even able to see what they are giving. They won't be able to handle anything, due to which they would prefer closing the shop by 6 or 7, because they can't function in the dark. So this would lead to reduction in profits. So in this way, the energy sector is also an input to various sectors. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please do like and subscribe.